Hello, coaches. Welcome to the Coach C Basketball Analytics Podcast. In today's episode, I want to talk about my basketball coaching philosophy and how it has evolved over time. Everything I have done as a coach has led me to this stage where I have embraced a mature philosophy that works in real game situations, not just in theory. What I am sharing is not theory. It is a philosophy built over more than 4 decades of coaching, evolving while competing and finding ways to win games and championships. When you coach teams with fewer resources, you cannot play the same game as everyone else. If you do, you are playing into the advantage of more talented teams. So I had to think differently and I had to be different. That is how you level the playing field. That is how you compete. That is how this philosophy was built. What really shaped my philosophy was a simple question. How do I develop basketball IQ? That was the starting point. Not systems, not plays, not schemes. How do I develop players? Because once you develop the player, the game changes. Over time, that became the center of everything I do. Develop the player, develop their understanding, develop their ability to read and react, and everything else builds from there. That is what led me to move away from structured, predictable systems. Those systems may organize the game, but they do not always develop the player. And if the player is not developed, especially in terms of decision making, you are limited. So the focus shifted from running plays to developing players, from memorization to understanding, from structure to adaptability. And that is what evolved into my philosophy today. At the core of it is this: develop players as specialists in the sport, full control of the fundamentals, and play smart with data. I see the game of basketball as an opportunity to be proactive offensively and defensively, to control the rhythm of the game and force opponents out of their comfort zone. To get there, I do not rely on traditional read and react concepts. I teach through constant ball and player movement, exploring their abilities over the defense based on data-driven and basketball analytics goals. There is structure, but there are no rigid patterns, because once the game becomes predictable, it favors the more talented team. Most systems tell players what to do. I give them the tools and prepare them to react instinctively to the situation as it presents itself. That is how players develop real basketball IQ. They are not memorizing, they are reading, reacting, and making decisions in real time. They understand spacing, recognize advantages, and play the game. I develop players as specialists in the sport, not in a position. A taller player develops perimeter skills, handles the ball, and makes decisions like any other player on the floor. Now matchups are not clean and comfort is gone. The opponent is forced out of their comfort zone, and that creates pressure. That pressure leads to mistakes, but it also allows players to explore their abilities over the defense in a real and meaningful way. They are not restricted, they are guided. This brings excitement to me as a coach, to the players, and to the fans. The tempo increases, the game flows, and with that flow comes more opportunities. More shots per possession, more pressure on the defense, and when everyone is involved, the opponent's best players have to defend. On the defensive side, everything is built on pressure, but not pressure for the sake of pressure. Our pressure is driven by data. We aim to minimize possession time, limit points per possession, and control the rhythm of the game. Our defensive identity is built on the 4Ds: destroy, disrupt, deny, and dictate. We take it to a level where the opponent becomes vulnerable and beatable. We sustain that through depth. We train to have a deep roster so we can maintain pressure, tempo, and physicality throughout the game. Because without depth, this style breaks down. Rebounding completes it. If you are going to play with pace and pressure, you have to finish possessions. Rebounding allows us to control the game, limit second chances, and start the next action with advantage. The goal is to use game tempo to achieve data-driven game plan goals and gain an edge. Now everything connects back to data. We define what matters: possession time, points per possession, shot quality, and pace. We are not just playing free, we are playing smart. So when we step on the floor, we are not guessing, we are executing. And that allows us to compete even against teams with superior talent. This is not theory. Even when I did not have the most talented team, I was able to lead teams to unexpected wins and championships because we were not predictable and we were not playing the opponent's game. We were forcing a different game, one that requires constant movement, constant decisions, sustained pressure, and full engagement on every possession. And that is where the advantage shows up. At the end of the day, this is what I believe. Develop players as specialists in the sport, full control of the fundamentals, and play smart with data. Coaches, that wraps up today's episode. Appreciate you taking the time to listen. Hope to have you on the next one. Until then, keep teaching the game, not just the plays.